Okay, I think we're live now. Just going to give it a minute or two to see who might want to come in, if anybody. We're running late and going to talk about what you carry every day for first aid. And that's why kind of we're late. Hey Terry, good to see you. Hey Anita. Sorry we're late. That's actually going to fall in with what we were going to talk about tonight. So, just give it we're late, I'm sorry. But our topic for tonight is, what do you carry with you for first aid? Hey Kitty. And it just so happens that we had to grab this really quick out of the car. This is what we carry for first aid. And I'm going to take it back apart and show everybody. One of my grandsons got his finger hurt, and we thought we needed something out of here, so we grabbed it. Hey, Suburban. So, this is what I carry. But so that it doesn't get all that wet, and I really need to find a better case. But I have this with me all the time. So, I have an ace wrap. I have tape for two reasons, and I'll go over why I have the tape. I carry aspirin. This is like a tooth in case you have something with your, toothache or something. Triple antibiotic cream. I have multiple sizes of Band-Aids. Okay, well, let's do this. I have allergy tabs in case I or somebody else comes in contact with something that they have an allergic reaction. I have moleskin pad for if we're out and we get blisters. I have antibacterial if we need to clean something off. This is probably the thing that I carry that I think is really important. I have a bandana. Actually, I have two bandanas. But I carry bandanas for a couple of reasons. One, it can become a splint for an arm or tie up. I only carry one ace wrap. But if I needed to, I could make a wrap out of this for an ankle to hold somebody's arm up. If you're out and it's very hot, to keep sweat off your face, to keep the sun off your head. There's a lot of reasons. And I'm just taking everything out, and then I'll show you. We do have, in case somebody loses a filling. Okay, now I can get to everything else. Here's the little thing for the pick. The instructions for the dental. Anti-diarrhea medication. Multiple sizes of Band-Aids. I have so many different sizes of Band-Aids. Burn cream. These are steri strips, or otherwise known as butterfly bandages. There are, I have a chapstick. I have some different size gauze pads. And I know I'm being very I have. But we'll discuss all this. Alcohol wipes. And as I said, multiple sizes of Band-Aids. Now, why do I carry all this with me? And you'll notice that I have 2 sandwich bags, that I fit everything into the one, zip it closed, turn it upside down, and put it inside like that, and then zip that one up. If one of these tears and gets wet, I can always use the other to keep everything dry as best as possible. If it's put down on something that's wet, my Band-Aids, my Ace Wrap, my bandanas, none of those are going to go ahead. Hi, Sybil. None of those are going to go ahead and get wet. So I still have a way that if it's damp and cold and I have somebody that needs some help, I can still help them and not make them any more uncomfortable. Hi, Food Forest. So why do I carry all this instead of just a Band-Aid or 2? Just happened. We were over at my daughter's house, and my son and his family were over there, and my little grandson hurt his finger, had a little cut in it and stuff. It turned out to be a little cut, but at first look, it may have been needed the steri strips. Come closer. So, sorry guys, my daughter-in-law, who is a CNA and is in CNA 2. Hello. Could you please see what
has inspired the hounds?
Yes, they're inspired.
The bumper sounds.
But we had steri strips with us. We had everything that we needed, and you all know my daughter. She has everything too. But we had everything that we needed to take care of a minor emergency, and if it turned out to be a bigger emergency, we had something to work with immediately. Steve was a first aid instructor at one point, and we always found it very important to be prepared. Look, if things go bad and you find yourself away from home, the last thing that you want to do is to get diarrhea. So we have tablets. You all know, I've told you before, I have allergies. The last thing that we need if we're out and away and can't get back home, or we have antihistamines. If you're out, say you're camping, or say you break down, or say something worse happens and you are no longer able to stay in your home, you get a burn. The last thing that you want is a burn to get infected. So we have burn cream. We have things to clean up a burn. And we carry all this stuff with us. I know I'm being very dry tonight, and I don't mean
Suburban
to be.
said, no super glue? I'm serious.
No, we don't. And,
well, we have the steri strips that you would use super glue for.
Right. And we would have super glue. But sometimes something may be too big for super glue. So, in that instance, we have some other stuff in our. This is what we carry every day. We have other stuff. We have we do have super glue. We actually have sutures.
Mm-hmm.
we you can get them from Amazon, and you can practice on a chicken breast with them, because that's about the tension that human skin would be. And I am not suggesting that anybody go out and buy sutures if you're not trained.
Well, if you're looking at for your own personal use, no, you need to know what you're doing. But if things get really squirrely and
you have medical,
if you have medical supplies, you might have somebody who has knowledge. If you can provide them with the tools to go with their skills, you're a lot better off. I mean, if they have their own, they don't want to use up their supplies on your injuries. Have them to give to the trained person if you have to.
Hey, Dragon Talons. So,
Teresa Dean said she knows how to stitch up an open wound.
Right. This is what we have on what we have for every day. You got somebody, if you're at home, this is what we carry with us. We have a bigger kit at home, and we have another kit that we carry in our bags that we keep in the car. This is just stuff that we keep now. You go ahead. You were the first aid instructor.
Well, if you're on the side of the road, somebody gets hurt, you can help immediately if you have this. I mean, and to the present time, somebody gets hurt, you call 911, they come out, that's fine. Under those circumstances, I'm not really comfortable with squirting super glue into a wound to try and seal it up. I will put a non-invasive bandage across it. I will do the direct pressure and all those things.
And like I said, this is just what we carry just if we're running into town. This is not our kit in case there's problems.
Teresa Dean said, just saying for the layperson, it should be basic supplies, nothing really fancy.
Exactly.
And let's see, Sybil's practical prepping. I learned to suture on pig feet. They are most like human tissue. Yeah, but it really annoys the pigs.
So I just wanted to show you, because I think people take for granted that somebody's always going to be there with a Band-Aid. Well, sometimes a Band-Aid's not all that you need, but you should have some supplies. And I wanted to show you what would fit in a bag like this. Now,
Teresa said, doing any advanced procedure goes outside the scope of first aid and can get some into trouble. If you exceed the level of your training that you can document and prove as evidentiary support what you've been trained for, if you stay within your training, you're good. If you go outside that, if you're doing the mass tracheostomy on the side of the road with a pocket knife and a ballpoint pen, the person better be at death's door and nobody for miles and miles. You're still going to get sued, but you have an argument.
So, I lost something. I bumped something. I didn't touch it. So, what we're just trying to get everybody to think about today is what I have in my house and what I have in my bag are three different things. Mm-hmm. What I have every day is this. I mean, if you are out, well, not even now. See, here's the hard thing. You should have 3 different kits. You should have an everyday kit. You should have a first aid home kit. You should have an emergency kit. You should have what is it? SHTF?
SHTF.
You should have an SHTF kit. If you are gone and things go bad, you're not going to be able to get to medical help. So our intent today was not to be scary but just to give you some ideas of what you should carry with you every day.
Mm-hmm. Suburban said she keeps super glue because she's had to repair a popped stitch in a pinch.
Yeah.
Let's see. Terry Trotto said sometimes that first aid will be life-saving. This is very true. They talk about the golden hour. You've got to do something to keep people, the ABCs, airway, breathing, circulation. You know, it doesn't do any good to make sure the airway and breathing are there if they run all the red stuff out.
Okay, now, I unpacked everything in this bag in front of you. I got everything back in this bag in front of you. And that's what I'm talking. Have enough stuff to handle the little emergencies. Oh, I tell you that. Now I can't. Have enough. Go ahead, talk.
Okay, I'm just looking at comments. Let's see. Sybil says she was going through her medical supplies today, sorting them out, especially oral airways, 6 sizes.
Okay, everything's back. And like I said, the reason I double bag this is if something happens to one of the bags, I can change everything out.
Okay, Dragon's Talon, I have a home medical kit with advanced medical supplies, a home kit with basic trauma stuff, but I don't have an EDC carry kit. It wouldn't fit in your wallet. Oh, okay, well, don't put it in a wallet.
Hey, look, if you think that this wouldn't fit, I have a bag with me all the time. This fits in a bag. But if that's even too much for you, go to the dollar store or to one of the box stores and buy one of those little soap box, travel soap plastic things. You can put Band-Aids. You can put, you can put Band-Aids. You can put triple antibiotic cream. You can put anti-diarrhea medicine. You can put antihistamines in there. You can put some aspirin in there. And, get those little packets that have like 2 or 3 aspirin, the flat things. Put a couple of those in there. You can have something that you can stick either in a coat pocket, in your pocketbook, your pants pocket, the front pants pocket. You need to carry something with you every day. Over time, we will go over some of the other things that we have.
It's windy out.
Guys, I apologize. Okay, guys.
Hush.
It's windy outside. There's a storm coming, so everybody's on edge. But really, think about first aid and think about that. A lot of people have the kits that you pick up at the grocery store, or they have like 9,000 Band-Aids in it and maybe a tube of
antibiotic
cream.
Yeah,
and maybe some tape.
Just because it says it's a 250-piece first aid kit, look at the inventory what's in there, because it's probably 240 Band-Aids.
Oh, I told you I'd talk to you about the tape. One of the reasons I have the tape also is because, yes, I can put a gauze dressing on a wound, but if I have to use the ACE wrap, I can wrap tape around it, and it'll probably keep it better than those little metal clips fall off all the time. All the time.
Put those on and then run a layer of tape
over it. Right. Let me see. Good Samaritan Law. I was trying to think of what that was called.
They provide basic legal protection for those who assist a person who's injured or in danger from liability from unintended consequences, if unintended consequences result from your assistance.
But in a lot of states, that's only up to the level of your training.
It's in most of them, yeah.
Yeah.
So, like I said, if you're going to do the radar and Father Mulcahy tracheostomy on the side of the road, know you're going to get sued. That may be what's necessary to save the person's life, but, still.
So the other thing is, okay.
Homestead Tessie asked, is there any essential oil we could put in with the medical kit? Well,
there are. There are oils. But if you're not treating yourself, if you're trying to help somebody else out, you better know that they don't have any allergies to such things. For us, what I would carry, I would probably carry some Helichrysum. I would carry, what else would I carry?
Let's see.
I would carry probably some
Lavender for burns.
Lavender for burns. Lavender to calm somebody. But like for our daughter, that wouldn't work because she's allergic to lavender. I would carry lemon because it's a good antiseptic.
Oregano for the antibiotic properties. Sybil said, I recommend getting some povidone iodine swabs used to clean an area before putting Steri-Strips in place. And we have the bottles of that in the house. We don't have the swabs, but that's a good idea for in the
right. It is a good idea, but then you've got to check with the person to make sure that they don't have an iodine allergy. If they're allergic to seafood, you can't use them on them.
Hey, Breakaway.
Hey, Breakaway. So the bottom line is to get everybody to think. What you have in your house as a first aid kit, what you carry with you as a small first aid kit, and what you have in case you have to leave your house because a storm, a natural...
What's the hint? The nose over here.
Oh, sorry. A natural disaster, man-made disaster, SHTF, whatever. There are 3 different kits that you need to have. And tonight we thought we'd talk about the everyday one. And like I said, I have a bag with me everywhere I go. And what's it weigh? About a pound?
Yeah, maybe a pound and a quarter.
I have pocketbooks that weigh more than this.
Are you kidding? You have pocket books that weigh more than... Never mind.
Shira. Anyway.
Carry stuff. Know how to use it.
Exactly.
And I don't remember who it was. I apologize. Somebody's comment was they needed to go back and restock their stuff. Looks like it got raided. When you have the stuff, people are going to know you have it. The kids are going to borrow, I need a Band-Aid or this or that or the other. So check it periodically. Things expire. Things dry out. Make sure,
Our rule of thumb is when you change the clocks, check your medical supplies. Especially in the fall because, like, I'll load up on Sambucol. I'll order dry elderberries and have tinctures made up. I will check aspirin, Tylenol, ibuprofen, allergy meds, antidiarrheal meds. I will check just about everything. I do that twice a year. I do it when I change the clocks because when we change the clocks, we check the smoke detectors, we check medical. We just have a checklist. It's not just change the clocks.
Things to check checklist.
Yeah, a things to check checklist.
Suburban said she'd love to see our big kits.
We'll do a show with our big kits.
I got to carry everything out here.
Yeah, we do. Because this is what we are trying to change up our channel a little bit. I mean, we'll still do the things and the crocheting and the cooking but we're trying to be a little bit more involved in every day. And what made us do this was, and I'm not trying to get political at all, so please, if you have hate mail, keep it to yourself because I don't
care.
I'm just not going to deal with it. With all these protests that are happening on a daily basis now, with everybody being offended because they can, or everybody just being...
The outrage of the week. The people are upset about whatever they're told to be upset about. And next week it'll be something else.
You don't know when you leave your house and walk out the door what protest you're going to walk into anymore. And it's not just in major cities anymore. It's everywhere. You could be going to pick up a gallon of milk and find out that you need some first aid. And that's what really got us look, people are thrilled to be outraged now. I honestly believe that. I think that's not to say that everyone is looking for an excuse to be mad. I just think that people have gotten to the idea that they like being mad. So yeah, I guess I am saying some people just look for a reason to be mad and to protest. And if you're just trying to live your life every day, you may find that this might not even be sufficient for you. I mean, you can find yourself walking down the street and there was a protest and your tires got slashed or your windows got beat out. So now you're in a pair of shoes that look cute, but you weren't intending to walk 5, 6, 10 miles home. Mm-hmm. So now I have something for the blisters that are going to happen. You're not, unless you have sensible shoes on, which I think everybody should have sensible shoes on 24/7, but don't get me started on that. Anybody in stiletto heels, what's wrong with you? You're looking for an ankle to break.
Suburban said, I agree. My SHTF concern is riots. I live in the Atlanta suburbs.
And there's a perfect case. You can run out for a gallon of milk, and while you're in the store, you didn't know, but there was a protest planned, and now how are you going to get home? And
Dragon's Talent said people have lost their gone crazy over even the smallest thing to protest over.
Terry, flip-flops are not sensible shoes. As a matter of fact, if you ask any ER doctor what he thinks people should not have on their feet, flip-flops, it's in the top 2.
Really, really high up on the list.
ER doctors do not like flip-flops because of the amount of people that come into the ER because of them.
Suburban said, yesterday I had a tiny situation that could have been much worse. Go ahead. So, that's something that I propose for a topic we'll talk about.
We were actually going to talk about this last week, and as you all remember, we weren't on last week because there was a dryer fire at our daughter's house. There was actually something mechanically wrong with the dryer that caused the fire. So we postponed this for a week, and then we had a grandson that we had to help tend to. That's why we were late. So I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer. Neither one of us are trying to be a Debbie Downer, but look at the world. The world has lost its ever-loving mind.
Teresa Dean said, I hate flip-flops. Terry Trotter said, I know, Donna. I love my sneakers and boots. And Terry asked, how are they doing?
Everybody's doing fine.
Except for the bleeding little guy.
Yeah.
He's probably fine by now. He got it all patched up. And
he was so upset. He was crying, I want my mommy, and his mommy was holding his finger.
Okay, Suburban said, I was in the grocery store yesterday, went to get in the car, and I had no key. The plastic on the key broke. I carry a spare key. There you go.
There you go. So, the reason, like I said, the reason I'm talking about what do you carry every day with you for a first aid kit is because the world has lost its ever-loving mind. And, you know, everywhere, bless you, baby. Just about everywhere you live, somebody's going to say, it will never happen here. We are very safe. Everything is okay. I love you for that.
I think the saying is, bless your heart. Thank you, Terry. Dragon's Town, thank you.
I love you for your optimism. My optimism is gone. It's been gone for a long time.
I'm not a pessimist. I'm a realist. Okay.
I think that's.
Breakaway said normalcy bias. There you go. Everything will be fine. It's always been good, so it'll continue to always be good.
Folks, it's not good. And again, I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer. I'm just trying to say, going to buy a gallon of milk can be dangerous these days.
You just need to realize what's going on. Keep your head up, eyes open, as opposed to
Right. What's
situational awareness.
Situational awareness is absolutely necessary right now. I mean, I keep saying I mean. I mean this. It's I don't do I guess I do a lot too for my pregnant pauses. I don't know.
It's a verbalized pause. They tell you not to do that in those speech classes. Don't you remember?
Yeah, but I got an A in that class and I still say
That's because you gave out handouts.
Yeah. I had a professor who really liked handouts. So, as long as you brought handouts, he was fine.
Hello, Neona. Glad you're here.
Hey, Neona. So, situational awareness absolutely has to be in the forefront of your mind. Bless your heart if you think that you live in a place that absolutely nothing will ever go wrong. I would love to live there with you. But, like Steve said, we're realists. So, again, I know this is just a simple little thing. And it's in 2 sandwich bags. Well, it's actually in the...
It's in 1 sandwich bag and then reinforced.
No, 2. Are these sandwich bags or quart bags?
No, those are, well, I don't know.
I'm not really sure. But it all... You
It's
saw
smaller
I
than a
took
quart
everything out of here and put everything back in. You don't want it packed so tight that you can't get things back in it. Any questions?
Why is the sky blue? I covered that already. Never mind. To help me prepare for different things, I'm saving to get the Reader's Digest Back to Basics book. That is a very good book. We have 2 different editions of it.
We do. We do.
We have the old, beige, cream-colored one and the newer green one. We have given those to a lot of people.
We have. Because we think they're necessary. I think it's the best book that when somebody goes from a prepper to a homesteader. Or, what are they called? The homestead preppers?
Prepsteaders.
Prepsteaders. That's right.
Teresa Dean said, an addition of glucose tubes are wonderful. Everyone should have at least 3 tubes for first aid if SHTF or if ST.
Right. Right. And you know what? I used to carry and I don't anymore, mainly because I can't find them, were the honey tubes. The
honey straws?
The honey straws, right. I can't find them anymore, but I used to carry them with me.
So Thrift Books has it for $6. The Back to Basics.
So, again, we are always going to come back to situational awareness. I mean, you have, and not just situational awareness. You have to be a little bit more proactive. I know people don't like listening to the news because, they are the queens of Debbie Downers. But 5 minutes every day, or 5 minutes on the days that you're going out, try and listen to 5 minutes of local news so you know what's going on. So when you leave your house, you're even more prepared as you keep your awareness alert. I'm not stating this right.
Real quick, Patrick said if you can't find the honey straws, make them. Use straws and a vacuum sealer.
You know what? I never even thought of that. I never thought of that. Thank you, Patrick.
Teresa Dean said Sam's has them. They look like jelly packets from fast food stores. They have them in honey, peanut butter, and she loves them. Okay.
Okay, so back to what I was trying to say. 5 minutes. It's a necessary evil. 5 minutes of local news so that you know what's happening before you walk out the door.
Okay, do you want me to save the stuff I was going to talk about for next time, or do we throw it in here now?
Go ahead.
Well,
because I don't remember.
Okay, well, I'll kind of
I'm
touch.
sorry.
I'll kind of touch on it now. We can go in more in depth
Okay.
later. We talk about situational awareness, and I would say most folks, when we say that, you're talking about you look out around you in the parking lot, you pay attention to who's around you driving in the car, and that's very important. That's the first phase, the first layer. But how many of you, and I know some of you do, I've seen some comments and discussion before, do you have a scanner? Do you know the frequency that your local police and fire EMS use? Because just because you heard the siren go past, you don't know where they went, what they're doing. They could be just doing a routine run. They could be going to respond to somebody's alarm that went off. It could be coming. There was around the corner. There was a major accident about 4 blocks from here that blocked off the main road. Luckily, it was past where we need to go, the other side of town from us, so it wouldn't interfere with us going anywhere if we needed to. But, okay, if you don't have a scanner, I'm going to throw up a link. It's called radioreference.com. You can listen to scanners in various areas live that people have scanners and they pipe them into their computer. I'm going to throw this up there real quick. I'll put up a link.
And we'll put it in the description. Let me see. How do I put it in the description? Guys, bear with us because I did forget about this, but do you have it?
I'm going to throw the link in here.
Okay. Send the link to me through Messenger and then I can get it and put it in the description.
Okay. Used to had 3+ handheld, but sold them to hear the tones go off. Puts me in a panic mode. There's that. PTSD bad, Teresa. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry, baby. Let's see.
I have it. Never mind.
Now, that link I threw up there, I had it on the state of North Carolina. You could click on any county, and it will show you.
Okay, it's in the description now.
You throw this in any county, it will show you the police agencies and things like that. It gives you the frequencies that they use for primary. This one I pulled up Moore County, North Carolina, because I clicked randomly on the map. It gives you the police primary, their dispatch, fire, the different EMS dispatch. It lists townships, other places that have it. All of that's on there. And at the top of the page, there's a live audio tab. And that one, there's none available right now.
But this is something to start looking.
But look at your county, look at your area. And yeah, they've gone to encrypted digital. They go either to digital or encrypted on the police bands in particular, so that people can't listen, so they can't interfere with them.
That is a good idea, Anita.
What did I need to say? Salt and pepper in straws.
Yeah.
Okay. A lot of that website has references for scanners and things to pick up. You can get the encrypted ones. The key is getting the crypto to listen to them. But go on that website, see if you can find somebody in your area that's putting it out there. That website has pretty much every state in there. It's a reference of what's publicly available. Their focus is on scanners. They have other things in there for amateur ham radio as well.
Now, do you not think that we sit here all night long? Can you pick up your arm, please? And just listen to scanners? That would drive me batty. That's a good term. That would I couldn't handle that. But when we hear major sirens going for more than, we're very fortunate. Our police, ambulance, and paramedic sirens are all different.
Yeah.
So we can pretty much tell who's gone by. There have been times that we've heard multiple fire, the paramedic, multiple ambulances,
Ambulances.
ambulances,
As opposed to bambulances.
ambulances,
Ambulances.
and multiple police cars. At that point, I'm going to turn on and do my best to find out what's going on, because I am, one, going to pray for the people that are in need, but two, I am going to look out for my personal and family security, the security of my home, the people that live in my home, and that's what I'm going to do, because being uninformed does not keep you safe. The more informed you are, the safer you are. The more that you can role play, scenario play, what could or will go. That's the other thing. Look at your situation where you live and look at it in a way that what are the downfalls of your home, of your surrounding area? Do you live near railroad tracks? What do they bring through the railroad tracks? And when do they bring it through? Because most times railroads will bring chemicals through towns late at night. Well, if there's a derailment late at night, you're pretty much asleep, and
you're not going to
unless you get a reverse 911 call, you may not. Pardon me. You may not hear about it.
Hi, NC Automan.
Hey,
welcome.
Automan. What else?
Well,
you live by a port. What's being brought into that port? The best way to plan is to know
what your threats are.
What your threats are, yeah.
So, I threw that link up there to that website. If you don't have a scanner, somebody's got one. If they're playing what's on in your area, you can already listen to it. I just pulled up on the other page New Hanover County, which is Wilmington. And I know there's always a lot of activity in Wilmington. And there's the EMS, fire and EMS dispatch. There's a couple of scanner feeds that you could listen to. So,
but above and beyond listening to the scanners, find out what your threats in your area are. What can negatively impact your everyday life just in the community that you live in.
Do you live near a refinery, a chemical processing plant?
Railroad tracks, a port.
Railroad tracks. How close are you to the nearest nuclear power plant? Well, coal-fired power plant for that matter. I mean, there was a what was the plant up in inland there that caught fire and blew up?
What about the fireworks place that blew up a couple years ago? I think it was in South Carolina.
Anyway, I don't know your area. I know mine. I know what industries are here, what sources of potential chemical spills and things like that. That could be a problem. Teresa said we have derailments here with trains. Those are just nasty mess to get caught in.
Yeah.
When we were in Florida years and years and years ago, the train line ran 25 miles north of us, but right outside the little town up there just off the interstate, they had a train derailment and multiple tank cars full of various gases and chemicals caught fire. And one of them was a rail car full of chlorine,
yep,
which was right there in the middle of the flames. And so they had to evacuate everybody real quick because it was too risky for the firemen to get in and put the fire out to keep it from cooking off the tank. And they just hoped that the rain front got there quick enough. And it turned out it did. But anyway, know what goes through your area, know what's around your area. You know, pay attention to that sort of stuff.
Because situational awareness is not just knowing who's around you in a parking lot or a grocery store, although very important and should not be taken lightly. Other situational awarenesses are what threats are in your community, what threats are in your neighborhood, and pretty much look at your life for 5 minutes in a negative light. What around me can hurt me and my family, or make me have to leave my home?
Teresa said it's good to learn how to read an atlas. I know how because I had to learn it. It's a great thing to know. You could get a lot
How
of
many have
information.
maps? I mean, everybody practically lives on their phones with GPS. Do you know how to read them? I remember when I was in elementary school. Bless her heart, she was the best teacher in the world, Mrs. McCarthy. I don't think she's alive anymore, but I hope she is. But I thought she was older than dirt back then. But she was a sweetheart. She was very close to retirement back then. I really loved her. And I remember looking at her, and I was so serious when we had to learn how to read maps. And I said, Mrs. McCarthy, why do I have to do this? I'm going to live in the same town. I'm going to grow up and have my family in this town. And I'm going to die in this town. I was very pessimistic as a child. And she looked at me with those beautiful eyes that she had. And she said, would you just learn it for me? So I learned it. Well, I do not live in that same town anymore. I have traveled in the world. I know how to read a map. And I am forever grateful to that teacher, wherever she is.
Let's see. Teresa Dean said maps are escape routes. And Dragonstone is hard copy maps from local area, state, and national maps.
And if you travel at all, go to welcome centers. They are thrilled to give you a map.
Yeah, we have.
And if you went last year and you go again this year, get another map. They put new roads in.
Yeah, we have maps of, the closer you get to our house, the more detailed the maps that I have. Hard copy maps. Now, I don't have down to block level maps of California because
We're not going.
I'm not going to California.
I'm
I'm on the East Coast, not the left coast.
If you're in California, I'm happy for you. I think
those maps.
It's probably a very beautiful state. I just am not going to California.
But
I should never say that, because just as soon as I say that, God finds a reason that I have to go where I said I'm not going.
Now, after Hurricane Andrew, a guy that wound up working for me was stationed on Homestead Air Force Base. And after they got things somewhat under control, they allowed him to go back in to his house and try and salvage any personal belongings that he could. He got a Ryder truck, a rental, the moving van type truck, and drove down there. When he got in the area on base, the only way he found his house was he had a map of the base that had all the streets.
And he counted
intersections and turned and counted intersections because there were no signs, no trees. Most of the houses
landmarks.
Were rubble. There were no landmarks recognizable. And so the only way he found his house was he knew that he went 5 streets in this way, 3 streets that way, down the second house from on the left, and you count driveways and in the curve, because there was a big long expanse of rubble where one house blew into another. And he got there and he said, I took a panel truck down. I could have taken a suitcase. He got into the house anyway. There were a few things salvageable, but not very much.
So if there's a natural disaster or a man-made disaster, landmarks can be gone in no time at all. So, well, I think we might have depressed everybody enough for tonight.
You think?
I think.
Sure.
We really do try and have these conversations, and they're a little frank and a little heavy at times, because we want you to be safe. We've come to know you guys over the years, and we just really want you to be safe. Now, I don't know if they're going on because I haven't talked to them tonight, but it's 8 o'clock and it's time for Big Bear Homestead to come on. And then after that, I think it's
Deep South Homestead.
Deep South Homestead.
I would just say one last thing real quick, and then I'll shut up. Well, not really, but we'll be off of here. I lost it. The thing is, thinking about things, talking about them now is a little concerning. But when problems arise and you've done all this prep work and you've thought about it and you've got plans and you've got your stuff ready, it's a great feeling when the lights go out, the power is going to be off for 3 or 4 days or a week or whatever, when
the wind blows,
when whatever's happened, and you say, oh, well, and you dig into your skills and your preps and you have lights, you have food, you have whatever. The knowledge that you can do that when things go sideways is a wonderful feeling. Yeah, there's kind of some gloomy now, but the sun will shine later.
It will. I've taught our children their directions, north, south, and how to use a compass. Wonderful. That is, that's another lost art because everybody has their phones and they just go, well, I'll look with the phone. Phones aren't always going to work.
Julie said she finally got on. Just in time to say goodnight, Julie.
Is dinner ready?
Sybil said, great information, Donna and Steve. Appreciate it greatly. Thank you and blessings to you both. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. Let's see.
As always, have a safe and blessed day, weekend, and week. And share your knowledge.
And go to Big Bear Homestead when they go live here in a minute or two.
Night, guys.